morning. We are finishing the book of Genesis. So we are finishing the story of Joseph. We've had this whole wonderful novella, that's the last part of the book of Genesis, about Yosef and his rise to power in Egypt. And we have at the close of that story, Yaakov coming to the end of his life. Jacob is coming to the end of his life, and he calls for Joseph, and he calls for Joseph's sons. And he asks that Joseph bring his sons forward. So it's Jacob's grandsons, who Jacob, in a very moving ceremony in this week's Parsha, adopts his grandchildren as his own sons. He adopts Joseph's two sons as his own, so that they will inherit with all of the other ones of Jacob's sons. And when we count the 12 tribes of Israel, we know this because when we count 12 tribes, included in those 12 tribes are Ephraim and Manasseh, the two grandsons that Yaakov adopts in this week's Parsha. Ephraim and Manasseh, they are the ones through whom we still bless our boy children on Friday night. We say before we bless them, Yesimcha Adonai ke Ephraim ki Manasseh, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And the rabbis ask, why Ephraim and Manasseh? When we bless our girls, what do we say? Yesimech Adonai ke Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God make you like our matriarchs, Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah. When we get to boys, we don't say, may God make you like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. We say, may God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And so the rabbis say, why is that? Not the patriarchs, but these two guys, these two Egyptian guys. Joseph has an Egyptian wife. He's the second in command in Egypt. He's assimilated, right? His sons are Egyptian. They are Egyptian high-ups, right? They are the 1% in Egypt. Why them? So the rabbis have a couple of things to say. They say, yes, they're Egyptian, but they kept enough with all the temptations to become absolutely Egyptian. They stay connected to the stories of their ancestors, and they stay connected to their grandfather Yaakov, and they maintain an identity that allows them to become two of the 12 tribes. They keep their identity as benefiting from the wonderful society they lived in and their position in that society, and they kept an identity that had them understand there was something else other than this one culture to which they belong. We as Reconstructionist Jews stand on the shoulders of exactly that example. Mordechai Kaplan, the founder of our movement, taught we walk fully and completely in two civilizations as American Jews. We are privileged. The amazing opportunity the Jewish people have had in this country is unprecedented anywhere in the world. Yes, we've reached the heights of whatever in Spain and the Golden Age and all of that, of course. But this is the only country in the history of the world that allowed Jews to be citizens from the beginning of the country and never have lost that citizenship once. Ever. This is the only place that's ever happened. So we bless the fact that we are Americans. We bless the fact that we are fully part of this amazing American experiment and society, the greatest country in the history of the world. And we walk firmly and completely in the Jewish civilization as well. Hence, this morning, that Maddie steps into full membership in his second identity as a Jewish young man. And the other reason the rabbis say it's Ephraim and Manasseh is because every single, if you go back to Cain and Abel, the first brothers, how did that end? Right? How was that relationship? Right? So Cain and Abel, all the way down through the generations of the patriarchs, every single pair of brothers has fought really, really viciously and hurtfully. Yaakov himself stole the birthright from his own brother, Esau, twice. Kind of manipulated him once and stole it outright the second time. And Ephraim and Manasseh are the first time in the Torah, and it took the entire book of Genesis, by the way. It's at the end of the book of Genesis, are the first brothers who get along. Even though it's switched, right? Manasseh's the older and should have received the bigger right-handed blessing from his grandfather. His grandfather switches his hands and blesses the younger one, Ephraim, with his right hand. And even there, we get no indication that Manasseh has a problem or that Ephraim and Manasseh have any kind of problem with that. And so the teaching of the rabbis is, may our sons live into, may our daughters live into, may we as a people live into the example of Ephraim and Manasseh, that however difficult it is, that we learn how to get along with one another, and we learn how to do things in a way that we become truly a blessing to others. Shabbat Shalom.
Amen. Yasher koach. Kol hakavod.